Top of the morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday.
What's up, guys? Let us know. I know we're going to wait and see if a couple folks jump on. If you're coming on, make sure you hit that blue link above our big heads and allow StreamYard to see who you are. Comment live if you're live. Comment replay if you're watching the replay. Let us know where you're tuning in from. We're always curious to see, where our group members and whatnot are from, to see how many people we're reaching. We've got a special guest today, Miss Rachel. She is a flight attendant by day and sometimes night, and she's been building her business online while working a full-time job. And I do have to say that Rachel has moved a hell of a lot faster than Nate and myself. We've had the pleasure of working with her a little bit closer in the Core Accelerator. But before that, she jumped into Group Juice, and that's when things really started to change for her based on what she told us. And she just kind of hit the ground running and has pretty much opened the floodgates for her brand to grow, her business to grow, her followings to grow. And, what a lot of folks love, her bank account has been growing as well. So appreciate all the comments that are coming in. Rachel, if you don't mind, there are going to be some folks inside of our groups that don't quite know who you are. So if you could give us, like a couple minutes backstory of like where you started, why you started, how things went, and then how things changed, just kind of break that down for us.
So I was on TikTok for the funny videos, and I was, sharing the funny videos with my friends. And then I kept seeing people talk about making money on there. And I was just like, what? Like, what in the world? I didn't even know how to make a TikTok video. Okay. And so, of course, I started watching this same person. And, it says what it takes 7 to 10 kind of, you see a person, you see their content. It takes a while. You don't just see one person's content and say, hey, I'm going to check out the link in their bio or whatever. Yeah. Anyway, so I started with the $7 course that a lot of us started with, and I bought the upgrades. And for me personally, I made a lot of mistakes because I rushed the process. And in my head, all I was thinking about was making money. That's all I thought about. It was the shiny object syndrome was real. It hit me really hard. I'm a single mom. I'm a flight attendant. So when I fly, my parents keep my child, and he's with his dad some, but and I just thought, gosh, it would be so great to get, have some side money and not have to fly so much. So what I did though is I got in that vicious cycle where I kept buying course after course after course. Now I wouldn't complete these courses. So all I did was get more in debt, and I kept thinking, okay, now this one's going to work. Now this one's going to work. And that's just not what happened. So I stayed with the same course, y'all. I went to the mastermind. I met the CEO. I mean, I got to meet a ton of great people. And by then my following on TikTok was 10,000. Okay. I thought, you know what? I mean, why am I not getting a high ticket sale? And first of all, the reason I was not getting a high ticket sale, it had nothing to do with that company. It was the way that I was marketing myself. I didn't have a brand. I didn't know who my target audience was. And I was doing the how-to videos. I was just not marketing it. I wasn't being me, really. So I found y'all in July of 2022. And that is when, because of Group Juice, that is when I made my first high ticket sale. It took me over a year, but I was determined not to quit. And since then, I've just kind of learned the right way to market myself. And it's because of y'all, because I mean, it's honest marketing. Like, I know that sounds crazy, but I think that a lot of us started with the same course, and there's nothing wrong with that course. It's just, I really thought if I built my TikTok up and I put a link in my bio and started making content, the cash was going to start coming in. And that is not what happened at all. I mean, I kept growing.
Can I stop you for a second?
Yeah.
I want to bring you back to something else you said that I think a lot of people need to realize. You said that you were buying course after course, but you weren't completing those courses. So what I want to bring to everyone's attention that's watching, I did the same thing. I also started with the same $7 thing back in January of 2020, and I upgraded to the blueprints and that jazz too. But when I kept buying things, I wasn't finishing them. So here's why I think we do that. It's because we get this dopamine hit that we are doing what we're supposed to when we buy something. It's like, all right, we bought this new thing. This is it. And it gives us that dopamine hit, and we feel like we're moving forward because we bought something new. We invested in something else, but then we don't even fuck around and implement what we learned completely. Right now, would you say that that's pretty accurate for you as well?
Oh, totally. Totally. Well, and I will say, I feel like some of these courses, they are all the same. Some of them. I mean, you need a sales funnel. You need, and the tech part for me was really hard. It still is.
Right.
I'm old, kind of, sort of old. And so, I mean, it took me, gosh, when I started with Group Juice and I realized, okay, I don't have to have a sales funnel. I mean, you can always do a sales funnel if that's your thing. But when I took that away and off the table, and like, for instance, I built a Aweber page. Okay. Y'all, it took me forever to do it, but like that kind of boosted my confidence a little bit and it saved me $100 a month because I was paying, for a sales funnel. But Group Juice for me personally it's a completely different course. Like when you bring in the Group Juice, like I was like, oh my gosh, like I could have saved so much money and so much time because I really believed these videos that said, you're gonna learn a new skill in 2 weeks, and you're only gonna have to work an hour or two a day, and you're gonna make $5K your first month. I mean, I really believe that. That was not what happened to me, but it took me a long time. It took me way longer than 2 weeks just to figure out the sales funnel software, and it's supposed to be beginner friendly. So if you want to feel good about yourself, you need to you hang out with me. But seriously, that was a big thing for me, was tech. And for me now, I've been a flight attendant for 27 years. So it's like I started college all over again.
That's huge. Like, and thank you for, giving a lot of credit to Group Juice. Really appreciate that. It kind of makes me blush a little bit, honestly. I was the same way going through that other thing. And it's like, I spent a fuck ton of money trying to get all the extra shit that I thought you needed. And I made my first couple $1,000s without any tech, without any software, without a sales funnel, without none of that shit. Right. And I think that's a big part of why Nate and I created Group Juice the way that we did. Like, we're just two simple girl dads that used to bust our ass out in the blue collar world. And we wanted to create something based on the dozens of things that we invested in that was complicated, overcomplicated. And we wanted to simplify it based on honest marketing, number one, and not having something that has people scratching their head for weeks. Right. So I appreciate you sharing that part of it. My next little question would be, what would you tell folks that have been, say, watching our content, your content, anyone who's inside of, say, like our world? What would you say they should focus on in the beginning to skip all of the bullshit? And I'm not going to say all of my investments were wasted, but I will say I learned a lot of hard lessons. So like you said, you can help people skip all the mistakes and not waste time or money, right? So what would you say to the motivated person that's like, all right, I want to eventually leave my job, or I want to just make an extra $1,000 to $2,000 a month? If that's that person that's watching, what would you tell them to do or focus on after they invested in something that's actually good? Like, what would you say?
I really think target audience is really big here because, like, I had that question kind of last night and I said, okay, go back to when you clicked the link in that bio. Like, what did that person say? Like for me, okay, I really did think, okay, 2 weeks, 1 to 2 hours a day, 5K. I mean, shoot, 5K a month. I mean, but so I clicked the link in that bio and I bought the blueprints. I did all that and the girl's killing it with this program. And I did everything that she did and I didn't kill it. So I think target audience is huge. Like, who are you talking to? Because that's going to make it even easier if you're to create your content. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, but two, now it's got to be more than money. It's got to be way more than money. I
Yep.
mean, if you are just in this for the money, and that's what I was totally in it for the money. And I wasn't in it to help people. I mean, you got to be in it. You got to be in it for more than that. And I love the personal part of this. I love the relationship part of this. You know, y'all teach in Group Juice relationship over revenue. All I focused on was revenue. That's all I focused on. And why, I know I keep going back to Group Juice, but I mean, why do you want to promote a program if that program is not going to help your audience? So, like, I don't want to promote something if it's just going to confuse somebody more.
Yeah.
And then that is, and I don't know, that's just a huge problem that you're going to have if you're going to promote something just to get the cash. Hope that makes sense.
Yeah,
It does.
You bring up a really good point when it comes to awareness of it. It's not something on a lot of people's radars, especially when they first start affiliate marketing or online business in general. Like, what type of audience their content is actually going to be building, right? And then they wonder why they're not making sales, they're not buying things. A lot of it can stem from that actual content, right? If people aren't upgrading, right? That's a big one if we're talking about this specific thing. Like, if a lot of your content's talking about minimal to zero work, they're not even making it to the point where they're going to upgrade. You know, that was one of the most common problems when I was promoting it at the time, is like, everybody would be like, hey, they're not even starting it. Well, that's usually a big part of your marketing message that comes across, right? They're not even getting into it expecting that they have to do any work, right? Hey, I signed up. How come I haven't made money? That's not how this thing works. But super important one, right, is the the target audience, and as a building your brand as a whole, right? Like, what do you want to actually be known for in the online space? And I think what was it? Kim said something, my favorite hot mess express. That's a quote that Rachel uses all the time. So I think that was a cool one when it comes to, like, injecting yourself and things that you want to be known for on the internet,
Well, and I want to be in this for the long haul. So that, me building my own personal brand and being I want people to see, okay, that girl tells the truth, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I had a girl on my live last night. She's killing it with Legendary. I mean, she's gotten to platinum or whatever. And we were talking about, like, mentorship and stuff. And anyway, she commented on some things. And I told her, I was like, you're killing it. I mean, I think you're awesome. But that just wasn't my journey, but two, now, my content was all over the place. It was all over the place because I didn't have my target audience. So if you go back and look at some of my videos, I'm just like, oh my gosh, what in the world? So that's got to be a huge thing. And your why is so important. And it's got to be, I mean, most of our why is our family. I get that. But okay, but you got to dig a little deeper. Okay, why is it your family? Do you want more time with your family? In my situation, I do want to call the shots. I want to be able to, if I want to have, I don't want to have to go on an airplane. I want to make that choice. I can go on an airplane if I want to go on an airplane. Does that make sense?
Yep. I want to hit back on the relationship side of things. So when you made a pivot in your content, I'm assuming, correct me if I'm wrong, you made that pivot and started to create content that was more about like who you were and who you could help, right? Because like I'm seeing some really cool comments, about helping folks, ADHD. We'll touch on that in a second because I'm a bad one for that. But it's like when you disconnect from making a sale, right, and you start to create content and trainings and go live with the sole intention of helping people, right, being honest, that automatically turns you into a people magnet, right? A lot of people love my bluntness, and I know I swear, God made me this way, but I swear a lot. I just try to keep it real. I see the same thing in your lives, Rachel, and your other content too. That's what's missing. I won't name like programs, but with other programs and how they're being taught, it's like, just copy this and do this. And they're leaving so many relationships on the table because they're just doing what everybody else is doing. So if you want to eliminate like competition, be yourself, because there's nobody in the world that is just like you. Even if you have a twin, they're not just like you because your personality is different. Your experience in life and business is different. Your why is different. And another big thing that Rachel said, guys, I want you to put this in the comments, is go deeper on your why, right? I did this for my family so I could be home with the wife and kids. But to go on a deeper level, I wanted to be here with my wife and kids while I'm building a legacy, right? Most you see that word in like movies and shit. Oh, he built a legacy and left it behind. I want my kids to grow up and become adults and see all the cool shit that their dad did so that he could be present. And I want them to have an option. Most people in my world will challenge me on this and probably look down on me when I say this, but I want my girls to have the option to go to college. I'm not going to make them, just because the world is different now. You can go and spend 50 grand on college and not get a fucking job in your industry. Or you can do like I did, because I went to college. Or you can do like I did. I invested $1,500 and built a multi 6-figure business with a college-like course that was an online course where I was learning from real people doing the real shit that I wanted to do. This is something that a lot of people overlook, and they just write it off because they're uneducated around what online business. Like, we've helped people sell candles. We've helped people sell coaching, consulting, courses. And that's just the game. So like going deeper, I think that's a really big one, to go deeper on why you want to do this.
And then Tyler mentioned something yesterday on his live, which always reminds me. I think it's in a book by Dean Graziosi. I think it's Millionaire Success Secrets or something like that. It's an exercise about going seven layers deep on your why, right? So you do it like you figure out your broad why, and then you keep asking yourself and picking it all the way down until you do that 7 times. And then that's like at its core, the reason why you're actually ending up doing this. And the biggest benefit, because you hear it all the time, right? Like, you got to find a reason why, without sugarcoating shit, is because this shit's not going to be easy. Like, if you want to build a 6-figure brand on the internet, it's not going to be easy. So you need to find a reason to root you to it beyond money, because anybody that has a lot of success online will tell you it fluctuates, right? Especially, this is extremely prevalent in the high ticket world, is you'll have days where you don't have money, right? You don't make sales, but then there's days where you make a bunch of sales, right? It's not like a traditional job. Like, I was talking to somebody that works 9 to 5, and they're like, I couldn't do that. It's stressful. And it's like, I couldn't see myself doing anything else.
Mhm.
But that's the reality of it, right? Is like, even to this day, we still have days where we don't make sales. Some days, right? But then
For
there's
those of you
days
that
where
are-
we make a dozen.
yeah, right. It's like we've done 0 in a day, and we've done 12,000 in a day. Let that sink in, right? It's crazy. Those of you that are watching with us, let us know if you got any questions for Rachel, because Rachel may not curse like I do, but she will still be very blunt and honest, right? So if you got any questions as we go, please put your questions in the comments. This is your time to get your questions answered by myself, Rachel, and Nate. Like, if y'all notice, anytime we do hangouts with clients and students, we don't leave anything unanswered, and we're very transparent. Okay, so my next question for Rachel would be, when you jumped into Group Juice, it didn't take you that long at all to start growing your group and make your first high ticket sale. So in your opinion, what was it that you think, in your opinion, was that helped you make your first high ticket sale so quick?
Well, I had already been on TikTok, so I had a TikTok handle, and then I made another one because everybody was losing their TikTok follow. They were losing their accounts, so I had 2 accounts. And the first thing y'all said, I don't know what day it was. It might have been the first day, or it might have been the second day. Repurposing my content. See, I did not want anybody to really know what I was doing on Facebook. That was my friends and family, and so what I started doing is repurposing my TikToks on Facebook Reels, Instagram Reels, and I had some Facebook Reels go viral, and it blew up my Facebook group. I mean, just complete. I was like, oh my gosh. But the thing is, for me, is I was like, you know what? I don't care anymore what my friends and my family think. I'm gonna just do this. And I had to get over myself, really, to be honest with you. But once I kind of said, you know what, I don't care, because I'm going to do this. I'm not quitting anytime soon. And one of the things I think that is very important if you're in this online space is that your family and your friends, they are not going to understand what you're doing. They're not going to put in the work that you're going to put in. I have people all the time ask me, like, what are you doing? And I know that they will never put in the kind of work that I've put in. So I just kind of say, I just kind of blow them off, really, because, this is hard work. But now it's work that I love. Do you know what I'm saying? It's different. Like, I love it. I love getting to know my audience. I love telling you, okay, listen, I really have screwed up a lot and I've failed forward a lot, but I've never quit on myself. And that's just really important. But that is what blew up my business, is a Facebook reel that I had posted on TikTok. And I had taken the watermark off. I put it on Facebook Reels. Y'all, it went viral for, I'm talking months, because Facebook Reels is so different than TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I started having people come into my Facebook group. And, for me personally, y'all, I spammed my links so much. It was just like, I just thought everybody wanted to do this, so it wasn't until I built my Facebook group, what Group Juice teaches, get to know your audience first.
Yep.
And this is a great example too. I had a TikTok go viral, y'all, and it was a voiceover. Okay. It was not even me talking. And it took me 5 minutes to make, maybe not even 5 minutes. It said, someone just offered me $1,000 for a picture of my feet. Okay. And in the text, I said, would you be willing to pay $1,000? No. Would you pay $1,000 to learn how to make it over and over again? Okay. Y'all, I had people coming into my Facebook group and they were like, how did you sell your feet for $1,000? I was like, that is a great example of where a viral video that means nothing. Okay. Yep. Nobody read the text. Everybody thought I'd sold my feet for $1,000. I was like, no, that is, oh my gosh.
Yep. That's always the worst when you end up going viral for like the wrong thing.
That's tough.
Yes.
Wrong type of content.
Yes.
Not to switch like the subject, but like it also proves like how many different opportunities that are out there, because I came across a Facebook reel. Now, the guys, I don't really scroll the feeds on any social media because I know the way my brain is. I'll squirrel off and I'll get lost, distracted, all that. So I don't scroll the feeds. If I do, it's only to fuel my content, right? But I came across this reel on Facebook, and it was this lady getting interviewed, and now it was OnlyFans. She was on OnlyFans, but she wasn't doing any super explicit things, right? So it wasn't like porn or nothing like that. But she was doing feet stuff and like photos, whatnot. Let me blow y'all's minds real quick, because we've made this much with our business online, but she had 1,900 subscribers. All right, so I'm telling y'all this for the math and the income side of it. 1,900 subscribers that paid her $30 a month. And for those of you that can't Asian like Nate, that's almost $60,000 a month. A month, right? So I want you to relay that. Let your brain fire off real quick. If you got something like Aweber, right, or any other affiliate offers that are, monthly subscriptions that will solve a problem for your audience, and they can use it in their business as a tool, software, Chrome extension, whatever, you can build up a monthly income that will pay you every single month like clockwork. It's almost like being on a salary at your job, but not having to do any more fucking work. So I want this to really sink in with you guys, not only the power of building a personal brand, because when you build the personal brand, then you have a positive influence on your audience based on who you are and how open, honest, and transparent you are, right? I know at any given point, I can go to my audience, I can share an opportunity that I find that I believe in, and I can have folks buy it because I've taken the time and, like Rachel said, put in the work that most people won't put in, because now I have this brand and influence over my audience because of how open I am. So if I say, hey, this is a good opportunity, don't sleep on it. If you want to do XYZ, this way, this is what's going to do it, right? This is the exact same way that Nate and I went from starting every month at zero to right now, we start every month with about 20 grand every month, right? Between different affiliate offers, clients, and other subscription things that we sell as an affiliate, because we're both active affiliates. So like, don't sleep on the power of this. If I had to guess, a lot of you are probably paying for Netflix every month or Disney Plus every month, right? Now, when you do that, you're paying the creator a set amount every month. When y'all get bored, go to Google and see how many Netflix users there are that pay like the $13, $14 every month. And you tell me how much that company is making. And it's because they simplified the TV platform. Oh, you don't want to pay $100 for satellite? Well, we'll give you all of this, all the shows, all your favorite things for $14 a month. They solved a huge problem and they saved people money. If you can figure out how to do that with your audience, and like Rachel said, she dropped another gold nugget on you guys, by getting to know your audience and what their problems are, you can close the gap with your offer, which will make you money and happy customers. Some free game for y'all real quick. We got a question too.
Yeah, and then one of the biggest powers behind that is eventually prioritizing the relationship and helping them solve their problems and actually win, is you build repeat business, right? Like you end up building something that's not on a lot of newer online business entrepreneurs' minds. It wasn't on mine. I know it wasn't on like either Flip or my brain until late last year, which is like, it's kind of funny how things worked out. When I first started, I was like running ads to ClickFunnels because I wanted to sip drinks on the beach, which is ironic in itself because I don't fucking drink. But stacking the residual incomes, right? Eventually you get to a point where like you sell somebody one thing and then you can end up enrolling them into something else that pays you every single month, right? It changes the way you operate your business as a business owner. It allows you to work closer with people, right? At this point, we have people that we've been working with for 12 months, probably over 12 months. And I don't see them leaving anytime soon, right? So from a growth standpoint, that's probably one of my favorite aspects to it, is you really get to watch them and be a part of their journey where they're growing their business extremely, like going from here to here. But then also from a revenue standpoint, the lifetime value of that customer is insane, right? Yep. If you look at, like, both of us, we're in a mentorship program where we pay a very healthy chunk of change every single month. And we've been paying for probably 2 years, right? And we're probably not going anywhere anytime soon.
Nope. We like where we're at, and we get to bring that back to the folks that work with us, right? Rachel's doing the same thing, just faster than we did, because we want folks to be able to go faster by skipping the bullshit. Again, that's what she's helping folks do. She's building relationships very quickly through her content and just simply inviting folks to follow along her journey. And the folks that are like, hey, that's interesting. You know, she's a flight attendant and she's also building a business on the side. That's pretty cool. That's intriguing. Oh, she's a single mom, right? Oh, me too. I want to see how I can do this. Now, if said person comes into her world and starts consuming her content, it might take a month. It might take 2 months. But at some point, those people that follow along and get to know Rachel, who she is, how she helps folks, they will invest with Rachel because of who Rachel is as a person, right? So keep that in mind, guys. Like, this stuff is, if you got a long-term vision, you can really do some cool shit in this space. So quick question. What's your TikTok handle? Gretchen asked.
I've got, it's Rach1 Robinson and then Rach1 recommends.
So there's 2 of them.
Yeah. Right. And cool. I saw Brooke, she asked something if I paid more than the blueprints. I paid, the blueprints that I bought got me to go to I went to the mastermind. So I paid more than the $2,500. And, but again, at the time, it was way too much information for me. I mean, for me, but again, I'm sure if I go back, I probably didn't finish it all. Do you utilize long form content very often? And what does your email sequence look like? Written content is my downfall. Okay, Brooke, that's my downfall too. It's just the long form content, but I don't know if it was in core or in the group juice, videos, but do you use the Google? There's a Google, because Brooke does really well in her content with TikTok. And Brooke, you can use it's like is it a voice memo or something on Google Docs? Voice text. Or Chantel maybe was talking about it. I can't remember, but that's something to think about but the long form content is just not really, it stresses me out. And one of the things that Flip and Nate have always told me is do the thing that you're good at. And so like Brooke, you're really good at your TikToks. So build your TikTok up and then you can go live. And I'm telling you, people are going to relate to you, Brooke, because you and I are kind of in the same boat with the single mom thing and, but so that's my downfall as well.
Two things. Brooke, definitely check out, not my wife, Brooks. That's my wife's name too. But check out I think it was day 4. It might be a bonus, but we give you guys in Group Juice a template to look at so that you can incorporate like your story as far as your email sequence. So check that out. You can definitely use the template and plug in your own stuff. Number 2, like Rachel was saying, we mentioned this some time ago, but you can, if you're fine with talking and doing, say, lives or talking in your TikToks or your reels, you can record those, post them, and then come back to your laptop and go to tools, like pull up Google Doc, go to tools, you'll see a voice to text, and then you can play your TikTok after you click the voice to text, and it will create your long form content. All you'll have to do is come back, put your periods, your spacing, and add anything that you want to, right? So super quick hack that'll save you time, and it's going to allow you to write the same way that you talk, right? Because I'll encourage anyone to create content. However the hell you talk, that's how you should write, because that's going to be you, right? If you look at my written stuff, I cuss in my written stuff, and I write the exact same way that I would talk.
Yeah, it'll give you a really good skeleton, right, for content if you do that. Like, obviously, you're not just going to want to post the same, but it definitely works really well, right? That's how we end up doing a lot of the scripts for our TikToks. We translate them onto a Google document, and we can literally just turn those into Facebook posts if we wanted to. And I know the long form content can be a daunting task for most, especially when they're first starting, right? It's very easy to forget like what writing content used to be, like even for myself. I mentioned this the other day. It was like, I remember being at work and writing Facebook posts on these, when I was supposed to be working anyways. We had these sheets that we had to like check all these gummy bears with, and I would just turn them over and I would end up writing my Facebook post on them. So repetition is a big one, right? Even if you think the post isn't good, just posting it, right? There's going to be a lot of transparency or relatability in just posting the content, even if it's not super polished, even if it's not like the greatest thing in the world. The reality is one piece of content isn't going to change your life. It's going to be a cumulative game of a lot of content, right? Whether that's a mixture of all of it, right? The video, the written posts, and the written content gets easier and easier. That's like, it sounds cliche, but over time, me writing Facebook posts, and I'm not trying to make this about me, I'm just speaking from experience, is now they're like, it's almost no thought behind it. It's just write it. It's like, can do it very quickly. But that's a big one, especially if you struggle with it, if you're comfortable doing the video, then lean into your own strengths, right? That's a big one. That's something as Rachel just mentioned, we tell her all the time, right? Yeah, you still want to be posting long form content, but if you jam the best on lives, then go live more, right? Like if
100%.
writing makes you extremely uncomfortable and like you're struggling, but you find your flow on video, then go live in your groups, do lives, do videos, do the lean into your actual strength, right? Which is kind of ironic to how most of us are raised. It's like you always have to fix these problems. Gary Vee talks about this a lot. It's like everybody shines light and focuses on the things they're not good at, when in reality, the thing that most of us should be doing is getting better at the things we are like good at, putting more energy into that stuff versus just trying to fix all these problems, right? That doesn't mean don't post content. So I know I probably just completely contradicted myself, but
One thing I do want to say, I know this is y'all's interview, but I want to say something that really stuck out to me with, I think, probably Group Juice, is creating your own asset. You know what I'm saying? Like that, I just never thought about that before. And, you know, if you could create your own asset and sell it over and over again, I mean, you know, it's crazy. But another thing they talk about in Group Juice, or maybe in, you know, I get the core in Group Juice because we talk about all the kind of stuff. You know, everything is marketing. And y'all, I was in Denver, and I saw a flight attendant friend that I have not seen in 10 years. Okay. And he's been watching my content, and he has pecans. He sells pecans. And he's like, I want you to help me market my pecans. So this is not just for affiliate marketers, digital market. I mean, marketing, you can market anything that you like that Flip said. I mean, they've helped people, you know, sell candles. I mean, it can be anything. That's what I love about this.
Yeah. That someone said that when we first launched Group Juice, they said, you know, this is a lot more than affiliate marketing, which it is. I had someone comment on one of my TikTok videos the other day. I was like, oh, look at this guy just selling another course on how to sell a course. And I could have responded and been a dick. But in my mind, I was like, this guy hates his life. He has nothing better to do than downgrade someone else. I went to his page, 1 follower, no content. I was like, yep, this guy's just a troll. So if he'd done any kind of research or looked at more than one of my videos, because I was duetting, someone that had made their first high ticket sale. If he'd have went and looked, he could have easily been educated and realized that we help people sell all kinds of shit, right? We don't care what you sell. We just want to help you sell it, right? Because every business, the lifeblood of a business is sales. You have to make sales on whatever it is that you're selling, right? So that's a big one. Scott's got a really good question too. And you said this is our interview. This is your interview.
Yeah, it's all about you. It's about Rachel.
What would you do if you have a group that has little to no engagement? You've had combos with many other folks in the group with no luck. Would you clean some of them out of the group? So I've got an answer, but I want to hear from Rachel first to see what she would say.
Well, I guess it would depend on how many people you have in your group. Because if I were you, I would start from the beginning and go back to them, and and say, I mean, work on that relationship again. Why are you in this group? I mean, that's just my personal opinion. Now, granted, if you have a big group, I don't know if I would do that because it would take you a while. So Flip, I bet his answers could be clear.
No, what you said is a great tip and a great point. Depending on the size of the group, I think Scott's got a couple hundred for sure. So if you're less than 1,000, I wouldn't necessarily do like a coal or a group cleanup. I would have a couple questions, and this isn't like directed completely towards Scott. It's really for everyone. How many times do you post in the group? What kind of things are you posting in the group? Right? You may have had conversations with folks, but did you ask them a question and they were just like, nope, not ready? And you're like, oh, well, that one's done. Right? So when you're having conversations with people, it's not to, hurry up and get to, a sales conversation to try and sell them something. It's more of, hey, thanks for coming to my group. Here's the type of things that I post. Here's some things I've already created to help you do blah, blah, blah. You're talking to folks coming into your group to build a relationship, right? Yeah. If you notice, I don't immediately try to sell anything to anyone if they're first finding me, right? I do make it known that I sell shit. I have things that solve X, Y, and Z problem, and they're priced at A, B, and C. If you like to take a look at those, cool, have at it. If not, let me know how I can help. What kind of questions do you have? Where are you at right now? All right. But if your engagement is low, I would first ask, like, are you typically all business? Or are you only posting once a week? Right? Because if you're not posting, once a day, once every other day, obviously you're not going to have engagement. If you're going weeks at a time without posting, you're not going to have engagement. If you're talking to folks one time, like a one and done, then yeah, you're not going to have any luck. You need to keep building the relationships. Like think about how you become a friend to someone new that you actually meet in person. Say you go to a bar or out to eat. Like I'll give you a perfect example. Me and Brooke, we went on a cruise for our wedding. After we got married, that was our honeymoon thing. This was like back in 2018. But we met these brand new people on the cruise and had never met them in our life. It was 2 other couples. 2 of them, they had all got married as well. So boom, we had a connection, right? And we ended up hanging out with them every day at some point during the day, the whole entire week. And at the end of the week, we realized, hey, we got a lot of things in common. We're all entrepreneurs. We all have our own businesses, and we exchanged numbers. We built the relationship in that week by seeing each other and talking to each other every day. And I still keep in contact with them, right? I still have them on social media. I still talk to Zach every now and then, right? Same thing with the people in your group. You don't just want to talk to them one time, see if they can or want to buy something from you, and then that's it. Not saying that's what you're doing, but for everyone, like you want to build the relationship. It might take you a month to build a relationship to where they actually fucking trust you, right? Because there's a lot of people out here spewing some bullshit, quick cash grabs. Like Rachel nailed it. Hey, just buy this thing and put in 1 to 2 hours a day, and you'll make $5,000 in your first month. That's a crock of shit. I haven't seen many people at all do $5,000 in their first month. And there are thousands and thousands of people that were sold on that exact thing. Versus
and 99% of the time, if they do, they were already moving. They were already doing something else.
Right. So there was a long-winded answer for that, but the best thing to do is, ask some. I've seen Nate do this really good too. If you're low engagement, ask some questions that people would answer to. Maybe it's controversial, right? Maybe it's something dealing with, hey, how many parents in here have 2 kids, right? Or what's the latest book that you're reading right now? What's the most recent investment you made into yourself? Do something to spark conversation and get comments, right? So hopefully that was helpful.
And then you can also do it like Flip brings up a really good point is going non-biz. Like you can do things like non-business, right? Posts. And then what you can also do to like even supplement that a level even further is just kickstart conversations with the people that drop comments. Don't have to be like, hey, I have this offer. It could be literally, hey, I appreciate you engaging on my post in my group. And what that's going to do is that's going to, stroke Facebook's algorithms, and then they're going to see more of your content, right? So off this little piece of content that you said, hey, what's your favorite food, right? Everybody's drop a GIF in the comments. If you could eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be, right? You're going to have people commenting. They're going to be doing that. You shoot them a message like, hey, I love lasagna too. Thanks for the comment in my post. Like, thanks for the comment in my group. And then it's just going to snowball effect and cause more engagement in your community, right?
Here's one more that you can try. I did this like a long time ago and got some really interesting, funny comments. But I put one in my group probably like 2 years ago where I was like, what'd your boss do to piss you off this week? Let me tell you, I got some books, buddy. I'm talking books. And I really found out how people thought about their boss. I was like, good God. But it was a great conversation starter because I responded to those people saying things like, hey, that would piss me off too. That's why I started my business. That's why I started my brand. That's why I invested in myself. Is that something you might want to do? So you can tell your boss to F off and leave you the hell alone, stop micromanaging you every week, breathing down your neck, right? Think about controversial things that people are dealing with. You'll get a response. Your engagement will go up. Okay.
It's a really good one, Scott. Appreciate you.
Great question.
And if any of you guys on here have questions, don't hesitate to drop them. Okay. This is Rachel's show.
Let's see. There was something else I just saw. I don't know where it went.
Every time you mention gummy bears, the theme song from that cartoon plays in my head. Technically, they weren't gummy bears, right? It's just the easiest way to explain them. It was a vitamin company. So we made like prenatals and kids vitamins and stuff like that. The smell was the worst, right? Never eat gummy bears again.
I could imagine. So I saw Courtney's question. It wasn't really a question, something she deals with. I go to record TikToks and I stumble to get my words together. Great idea to write it all out. Definitely write it all out. Here's something else that I see a lot of people that don't even know, or they just don't utilize it. So when you pull up TikTok, all right, I'm gonna do this in real time for you guys. Hopefully you guys can see it because I'm gonna try and show it. Let me pull up my home screen and turn this down. Okay, so I'm going to go to record. So like, let's just set it for 60 seconds. So I've got my TikTok set to 60 seconds, right? Now, if you're a person that where you you can't put your whole, however long it is, 30 seconds, your whole message, you can't put your whole message together with your words, right? I can sometimes I can't. I'll record in sections. I'll be like, I'll do something similar, like I'm going to do it in real time for you. Are you someone that struggles with content? And I'll be like, all right, what the hell am I going to say next? So I'll just record that one snippet and I'll think about what I want to say. All right. So I'll pause. Yeah, me too. Until I figured out this one hack. This is what changed the game and made content really easy for me. Boom. I just recorded my next one. Now I'm thinking again, what the hell do I want to say? This is sounding really good so far, right? Then I'm going to switch angles, switch hands, right? Content hack. Here's what you need to do. Scroll your feed, find something that pisses you off or you agree with. There's your content idea. Put your own spin on it. Let me know in the comments after you try this, and I'll go check out your content. Boom. So now it looks like this when I play it back in real time. Are you someone that struggles with content? Yeah, me too. Until I figured out this one hack. This is what changed the game and made content really easy for me. Content hack. Here's what you need to do. Scroll your feed, find something that pisses you off. Boom. You agree with. That right there. If you record in sections, you can it'll portray to your audience that you are quick, right? So try that. Switch the angles. You'll keep the attention of your audience. So a good hook, something you know people are dealing with, and then give them a quick tip, something that they can fix that issue, and a call to action. Like I was pushing for engagement in my comments, telling them I go check their comments. So I might even post that later. Who knows? But I wanted to give you guys a quick example in real time of how you can make your videos flow all as one, even if you struggle on your words. That way you can take breaks in between your clips and it just looks like one, right? So let me know if that was helpful.
Yep. And if you guys are in Juicebox, I think we did either day 3 or day 4, we did like a whole short form video content thing like that, right? So
You
that's
should be able.
Great explanation.
Gretchen says, but you have to record it all at once. You don't.
Nope.
You can put that in your drafts.
Yep.
And go back to it.
Yep.
I never even knew there was a draft section, y'all. It changed my whole life. I mean, seriously, because I was working all the time, and
right.
So when I know that I'm working like all next week, I'll batch a lot of my content and put it in my draft section. So I don't know if y'all know that, but I didn't. I was like, oh my gosh. I will encourage you about your content, Courtney. You know, everything is about content. And like I have a golden doodle that I got a year and a half ago, and I don't know what I was doing. I don't know why I did it. She's destroyed my house, my yard, everything. But I've even made content around that. And I said, okay, like when you're thinking of an online business, you need to do a little research. Like I didn't do any research on this dog. And I love her and I'm attached to her now, but she's a mess. My house is a mess. She's chewed up everything I can think of. And my yard is a mess. But see, that is a good example for me that I did not research when I first invested in this online business. And that's why I tell people about Group Juice in my lives. I tell them about, because I'm on a TikTok live, and I say, go watch Nate and Flip's, go watch their content. And if you jive with them, that's where you're going to get a ton out of Group Juice. But, and I tell them about other people, like watch people's content. What are they telling you?
Yep.
That's a huge thing. I mean, I went into this industry thinking, oh gosh, I was so naive. So naive.
That's a big point. It's like you said it earlier too. Literally everything that happens in your everyday life can be content. What are you dealing with? How many of y'all got kids that have mental breakdowns every morning before school? Let me know in the comments. Man, let me tell you, we have some rough mornings, right? And here with it being hunting season, I hunt in the mornings a little bit now, and my wife has to take on the whole thing. right? So powerhouse to my wife over there. Another thing, how many of y'all got, dogs? Put something in the comments, right? Like what Rachel just said. We've got 2 pit bulls that ain't worth a shit. They just lay around, they drool on everything, they poot in your face, and they ain't worth a pluck nickel. Love them to death, right? But like I'm looking at Rex right now laying with my wife, and he's just like dozing off. Got the best damn life ever, right? That's all things you'll notice. I put them in my content throughout whatever. My kids, my wife, hunting, what I do, who I help, client win. Like I literally share it all. I do not niche down. I do not talk just about business because that's boring, right? If I can incorporate like the type of person I am, that's what people hit and relate with. Same thing with Rachel, right? So I'll challenge anyone. Go and create more content around you, your life, right? How many people can relate to this right here?
Show them that.
We all do it.
Brooke's
Yeah.
about to beat you, bro.
She probably beat my ass later. But I mean, seriously. All right. I don't know how many people are watching, but I want y'all to help save my life real quick. So if my wife is violent, okay? So here's sorry. Seriously, y'all help save my life real quick. All right, this is serious. So y'all pay attention. I'm gonna ask y'all a question. All right, because I need proof and evidence. All right. So in the comments, let me know if you're great at washing clothes. You wash them, you dry them, you put them in the basket, and them some bitches either find your couch or your bed. Let me know in the comments if it happens to you, so my wife don't hurt me later. Okay. Oh God, she's getting up. Okay.
If my kids didn't change clothes, 4 times a day, it'd be all right.
All right. So I got people right here. So I'll show this to you later. All right. But people are saying, yep, totally, all the time in all caps. My pal sits on the deep freezer. All right. So don't hurt me. Okay. 100% clean and stay in the dryer basket. Hello. See, that's relatable. Somebody go make some laundry content today, and I guarantee you'll have folks.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
All right. There's proof of concept right there. All right.
Yeah, and the real power is like bringing all that type of stuff into your content, right? Like somebody mentioned, where was it? Before I missed this. Oops, wrong one. Courtney, there is a TikTok training in Juicebox, which you have, which kind of we run through actual app navigation and stuff like that. So if you haven't checked that out yet, I would definitely check it out. This one, I like this one. I have 3 dogs. One has its own TikTok account, double the size of my account, right? Bringing all of that personal stuff to any of your business profiles or any of your business content, right? It does a really good job at helping you stand out as a whole. It makes you relatable. It's funny because I actually stumbled across the video this morning that was talking about like characters that they actually put in movies, right? And they intentionally create characters in movies with flaws, right? Because there's been actual studies where if they have movies with characters that are like Superman, okay, if Superman's a perfect example, the reason that people end up relating to Superman is because he has a weakness, right? If he was Superman and he was just completely invincible, no kryptonite, it's not relatable. It's not appealing because it's not a, I don't remember what they called it, but there's like this actual huge benefit to being relatable and embedding that into your actual business. It doesn't have to be like major flaws. If you don't want to share that on the internet, obviously you don't have to. But that's one of the biggest benefits. And the coolest part is like, there's no pressure. You're literally just being yourself on the internet. Like crazy time, get paid to talk about you and be yourself on the magical creature called the World Wide Web.
I want to say thank you all to everyone that commented about laundry. So my wife, I'm safe now, I hope. Okay. I see a lot of you, Kate, Annette, Courtney, Pamela. I appreciate it. All right. Makes me feel safe. Number 2, Courtney says, how do you use the laundry content to bring people to your group? So check this out. Most people, they're on the app looking for a quick dopamine hit. All right. So something relatable. Think about what people want. People are selfish. We're all selfish. We're just humans, right? If you're sitting there saying, I'm not selfish. Yes, you are. All right. We all have an agenda. Like we want to make money, right? But we want to make money by helping the right people. Like you don't want lazy people buying from you, right? Like let me know. I don't want any lazy people. No lazy people. Put that in the comments. You don't want lazy people buying from you on a false pretense or false expectations. So if like I just showed my laundry here, my wife was like so pissed that I did that, but hopefully she's okay now, right? It's a natural thing. It's relatable because based on those comments, everybody does it at some point, somehow during the week. All right. We have a life. We have kids that change clothes and go get muddy outside, and they change clothes at least 4 to 5 times a day, even after school. It's crazy, right? The thing is, that's real. People want to see real. Like, what are you more likely to believe? Like if I said, hey, I've earned multi-6 figures and I have laundry that sits in the floor, right? I have clean laundry, but I've built a business with, laundry in the floor. Okay. I used to be a blue collar guy. I used to work 12-hour shifts. I used to never be home. Now I am. Versus if I said, hey, anyone can build a 6-figure business in the next 30 days, right? Which one are you going to believe? Which one is more relatable? So how do you bring folks in on some laundry content? Think about it. Laundry is a process, right? So have you bought a course and did not go through the whole thing, but you felt good because you bought it? That's pretty similar to washing and drying your clothes and putting them in the basket because you didn't finish the fucking process, right? Boom. There's 2 things that are relatable to business and life, right? After you do finally fold the clothes, how do you feel? When you fold the clothes and put your shirts on the rack and put them away and hang them up and put them in the dresser, how do you feel? You feel accomplished, right? You finished something. How do you feel when you make your bed in the morning? You get up, you get dressed, you go do your normal routine, you go pee, brush your teeth, whatever. And then you make your bed. Boom, you've started the day by completing something. So when you complete something, you get a dopamine rush, you get a confidence boost, and then you've done it. You've done it once. You know you can do it again. So just look at things that happen in your life every day, every week, every month, every quarter, every year that is relatable, right? If I went on TikTok and said, hey, how many of you are sick of paying your mortgage every month, because you're driving to a job to make money so you can pay for the house that you're never at? Ooh, how relatable is that? You go to a job, you drive an hour each day, you go to a job and make money so you can pay for the house you're never at and, pay for a car that you only drive to work so you can afford all the shit that you never see. How relatable is that? All right. Like the last 2.5 years, I've sat on these couches more than a little bit because I'm able to. Versus when I used to work 12-hour shifts, you can ask my wife that's sitting right there, how often did she see me? 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes at night. That's it. And now, surprised she didn't kill me. She sees my ass every single day, all the time, right? Now, just on my 3-minute rant right there, how much of that was relatable to you? Let me know. If it was relatable, put that word in the comments, relatable. Let me know. This is how you tie real life into business, all right?
And then another thing to like, even on the tone of how would that be relevant, right? Like the first thing that comes to mind is like, if we're talking about, Rachel mentioned something in the beginning of this interview about how she would buy more and more courses, but never apply. right? So you could literally translate that to someone folding their laundry, right? You've took the first 2 steps, but you never folded it, right? That's the action. That's the implementation of this actual course, right? So you're taking a real life thing and you're tying it to what you're actually doing online, right? Because that's more as everybody's commenting, that's actually relatable, right? We talk about this quite often where we're like, any way that you can anchor online business to a real feeling that somebody's actually experienced, it's going to be far more beneficial, right? Because a lot of people haven't experienced or had those feelings online in contrast to real world things, right?
Yep. Now, Nate makes a good point. Rachel's dropped some absolute gold today. So I've got a very selfish question of you. If any of this was helpful, or you've had any aha moments or light bulbs go off, just drop, your true opinion of today, and then we'll get back to some questions. But I want to go ahead and get this out there. If anything you've heard today was helpful in any way, valuable, light bulb, aha, whatever, drop that in the comments, because I'm gonna give you a quick tip before we get to these next questions. If you're a person that struggles with content, so like, check this out. You came and hang out with us today with Rachel based on her success, pretty quickly, just hanging out with us today. These aha moments and light bulbs that are going off for you, things that were explained better and maybe you've never heard it explained like that, that can be your content today. So like, this is what we tell folks to go through Group Juice or Juice Box, right? If you need information on any of those, hit up Nate, hit me up, hit Rachel up, glad to get you sorted. But what we tell folks as they go through our stuff is consume and implement. Implement as you consume. Because if you go and watch something like this live today with Rachel, if you're taking notes, which I hope some of you are, if you're taking notes, those notes can be turned into content, written, video, emails, whatever, because that's what's valuable to your audience. When you have an aha moment, you should feel obligated. I got to go tell people about this. This is great. This is big. Your excitement and your energy is what attracts people to you. If you can't tell, I get fucking pumped up when I'm talking, coaching live. If you can't tell, my energy is really high right now, even though I'm still sick. It's because I get fired up about this. Right? I want people to have these light bulb moments. It's like, holy shit, it makes sense now. I can be me. I can talk about the laundry that sits on my couch every day. Hell yeah, let's go do this. I want y'all to get fired up and woke up to how much fun this can be to connect with people that are just like you. All right. So let me know if you found this helpful today. We'll get back to these questions.
So I will tell you, because we do have somebody from South Africa who's in our coaching, the biggest metrics with TikTok is going to be where your account was created, right? That's one thing. So like if you're in South Africa and you created your account in South Africa, it's going to be one of the main buckets where they are going to start pushing your content. So if you have friends or somebody outside the US, like where you want to be, your ideal audience, I'm not going to say abandon your TikTok or anything like that, but that is going to be a big thing, right? It's going to be where that actual account was created at. Secondly, a SIM. You're going to have to get some type of SIM card wherever they have virtual SIMs nowadays, where you can like pay for a service, have a virtual SIM on your phone. But those are going to be the two main things, right? That's the only two things that I've heard of fixing it, is the combination of those two. Having an account that was created in the US and then having either a physical SIM from the United States or a virtual SIM from the United States. Those are the only, like both of those things together are the only things that are actually going to change. VPNs technically won't work. They will, but it's also, it's going to be on account creation. So, yeah.
Good question. We do know some folks that are in different parts of the world do have those issues. Something else you can do to be proactive is like on TikTok as a whole, you can follow more accounts that are stateside or in like a first world country and engage with them, comment on them, talk to the creators, let them know like, hey, I'm trying to build up my brand, but where I'm from isn't my target audience. I want to reach more people over in, first world countries. Same thing on Facebook. You can add people from relevant places. It's not one of our strategies, but based on your situation, it's a little different. So go and be proactive in adding people that are from places that your target audience or your target clients are, and then they will see more of your content, right? And I would highly suggest getting on Reels. Facebook Reels has had better reach with far as first world countries, and it's not really like TikTok and kind of restricted. So doing some more tests and then following what Nate said, because he's the tech wizard, definitely do it.
Yeah. A little less geo-focused in comparison to TikTok and other platforms.
Yep. And I see your other comments. Must I get someone overseas to create my account? Where do I purchase a virtual sim? I'm going to give you some tough love right here. Yo, you've got the internet at your fingertips. Do some quick research. Like, if you can do some simple research, I'm pretty sure you can find something on Google, or even search it on TikTok, right? I guarantee you'll find other people that have this problem. But a quick tip for everyone: if you can solve some minute problems for yourself, you can also bring that to your audience, right? But I'll challenge everyone, if you don't attempt to solve like your own problems, even if they're big or small, that's going to portray how you operate in your business too. So do some simple research on that. Nate gave you some absolute gold. If you figure this out, I guarantee you could maybe even turn that into something of your offer and help other folks that are like you that want to reach more people. So like there's a bunch of lessons in there too around, what you're doing and how you can go about doing it.
Yeah, there is if you Google it, there's a really good video right up top, because I had to do that for one of our coaching clients. We were trying to work through that. So there is some great information on there on it. Folding laundry. Let me see. Any tricks? Sorry, Rachel, we're totally just stealing your show. She's just sitting there
I love this. I love this. This is awesome.
Rachel just like back there. Any tricks with feeling confident with book reviews? I love books, but I don't know how to put it out to people who would want it. I don't mean to sound cliche, but just start going out there and start talking about the books, what you're getting from the books, like just talking about them, right? You would be surprised by the number of people who would also be interested, right? Or the lessons that you're learning, right? A really cool thing. And this is a really good example. Alex Hormozi, this is literally what he does in a lot of his content, is he literally talks about lessons he's learned from books, right? Yep. It's literally one of the main buckets of his content. Is like, hey, I learned this lesson. I did this, right? Confidence will come with repetition, right? And I wouldn't even necessarily put a huge emphasis on the confidence, honestly, because there is going to be benefits to just showing up in general, right? And at the other side of that coin is like, some people could perceive the way that I approach video content, or the way that I am on like live content, as lack of confidence, because I always jumble my words. I'm always stumbling on myself, but that's just the way that I always am, right? I've been doing live video content for years. I've been doing YouTube videos for years. I just leaned into it. Now I just tease myself about it. Just talk shit. Instead of being like, oh, well, this is this big thing. Like I'm not good on video. Now I just like embrace the fact that it's probably going to happen and give myself shit publicly, because it's relatable, right?
Yeah. I don't know how Rachel feels about it, but I mean, Rachel does a lot of lives too. So like, do you find yourself on lives and like kind of messing up from time to time?
Oh gosh, yes. Oh my gosh, girl, boy, if you want to feel good about yourself, you need to watch some of my lives. Okay, yesterday I was on a live and my dog was going crazy in the background. I couldn't get my son to go get the dog. I mean, things happen, but I will tell you this: the confidence, like show that you're like, say, people will relate if you say, okay, you know, I'm not good at tech, or I'm not good at, what, be you, because somebody is going to relate to you. I promise you. That's where you got to get out of your comfort zone. And, I have done things, and I mean, it's been crazy. Some of I used to sell activewear, and I would do lives on there. And I had these I was dog sitting, and I was doing a live, and y'all, the dogs went crazy. I mean, crazy. And I was trying to still kind of like talk, and the dogs were, and I was getting all these comments. You're cracking me up. You're this or that. But I mean, that's where it's just life. It's real life. And that's where you got to put yourself out there, because somebody is going to relate to you. That's just how I feel. And the live that the challenge that Nate is doing right now, I think it's so great, because I'm watching these people and they're saying, okay, this is not comfortable for me. People relate to that, because there's a lot of people that are uncomfortable.
Yep. And if you'll notice, this is a really cool thing that a lot of people might not pick up on. You notice we kicked off day one, and there's people watching in the background that are like, hey, this is my first live ever. I'm extremely uncomfortable with lives. I fucking hate lives. What happens the next day? Everybody's like, hey, I'm doing this. Now I'm on live. Now I'm doing my first live. Hey, sorry, I'm a day late. It's because they got inspired by someone else showing up, even if it made them nervous.
Yep.
Right? It's intoxicating to see other people do that type of stuff. And we talk about this all the time too, with documentation of your process, because people get to come along on these journeys with you, and it's going to inspire them to do more with themselves just by watching you show up, even if it's not polished, even if it's not the best thing in the world, right? Like, there's so much power in just literally just showing up.
Yep. You get, the more shit you do that makes you uncomfortable, the more comfortable you get. So I've got this little thing I used to tell folks when they first started paying me to help them. And I would tell them before they ever paid me, like, look, it's my job to make you super uncomfortable. And it's your job to allow yourself to get comfortable being uncomfortable, right? As soon as you get comfortable, that's when you stop growing, right? So I made it a point to tell them that, like, hey, I'm going to make you uncomfortable. I'm going to tell you to do things that you're not going to like. But if you listen to me, you're going to do really well. You're going to get really good, and you're going to get really confident. You'll get past your fears, right? The folks that did that and accepted me for challenging them, they've done really, really well, right? So, like, look at uncomfortableness, fear, even self-doubt. They're all indicators that you're doing the right thing and you're growing, right? If you're not uncomfortable, you're not doing shit that's going to push you forward, right? If you're not dealing with self-doubt, that means you're staying in your comfort zone because you know what to expect, whether it's good or bad, right? If you're not feeling fear, again, you're living in the comfort zone because you're not doing anything that challenges the way that your brain or body thinks. That's some real shit right there. If you're feeling those things, you're going the right way. I'm still uncomfortable after being years in this game and even having some success that some people will never see. That's just the reality of it. It's hard for me to accept. I can't see the name, but it says maybe I should keep my South African account. I would keep that account because that's part of your journey. Because 6 months from now, you could look back and be like, hey, I was struggling to not have my content seen. And then I went from here. Now I've built up my account to 20,000 people, right? With the people I wanted to grow it with. So it becomes, it's a part of your journey. I wouldn't delete it. I'd leave it there, right? Something else people overlook. Because, like, look at Rachel. If y'all forgot already, hopefully your attention span isn't as terrible as mine. But, like, she went through some shit in the beginning, made some big investments because aside from the blueprints plus the mastermind, it's a much bigger investment. And it still didn't pan out the way that it was sold to her or marketed to her. But guess what? Rachel didn't quit. And now that's still a part of her journey because she gets to speak on that experience and help other people skip it. Right? Same thing with how I tell my story. Rachel's doing the same thing. So like Rachel could be like, hey, I spent 10 grand and was totally fucked. I did not get the information I thought I was going to get. I was overloaded. I did not have the support, blah, 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 blah. Right? Not technically saying it's super bad. It's a lesson, a $10,000 lesson that Rachel, can help you skip. Right? Who would want to skip a $10,000 mistake and invest in something with 1,000 to do what I've done, which is grow my group, grow my following, and take that 1,000 and turn it into multiple $1,000 days, right? Who'd want to do that? Simple stuff, honest stuff, transparent stuff, just real shit, as I say, right?
And that doesn't mean you got to go out there and like shit on other things as well. Like that's definitely a popular one right now, is like fuck something else to make us look better. And you don't have to do that. I mean, obviously there is marketing angles in that, and the polarization it's a marketing strategy, but you don't have to do that if you don't want to. You don't have to tie your brand to that type of stuff, right? That's not what we're known for. We'll talk about a lot of our stories, a lot of things that we've tried, right? I think between Flip and myself, we've probably spent 70,000 on not so great stuff. So we can speak on that, but it's not inadvertently like being fucked that one thing, because that's
just a part
not
of
how we want to build our brand. How do you feel about hashtags, Rachel? Do you feel like they're super important?
I think they are very important with TikTok and Instagram. Not so much with Facebook. I don't know about. I didn't use any. I didn't use any hashtags with my Facebook Reels that went viral. But on TikTok, hashtags are super important. And one of the things I learned is that you do not want to use a hashtag like that has a billion user, like has been used a billion times, because then you are going to compete with that billion. Like I've come up with my own hashtags. I would definitely, hashtags are very important, but you don't want to use hashtags that have 359 million views. Would y'all agree? Wouldn't you want to stay within like 1,000 to maybe 1,000 to 10,000, or that's just my personal opinion. That's what I've seen too. And it's fun too, to use your own hashtags and see how they grow. Because then you see people that are watching your content.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's going to be even more important as TikTok continues to prioritize SEO, to use smaller and smaller hashtags. Because if, say, for example, somebody Googles something in your, like, Group Juice hashtag literally populates if you Google Group Juice, right? So the reason I'm mentioning that is if you're using a hashtag that has 1 billion views on it, somebody goes and finds that on Google, they're not going to see your content, or they might, but the chances of that is very minimal. Usually a big advocate on going smaller, as small as you can. Like obviously you can create your own, but the bulk of them would be, some views, but not too many views, as Rachel just broke down. That's probably because technically you are,
Yeah.
Well, I will tell you this, Scott. If you feel that way, if you feel like you're just talking to yourself, I mean, this is my second notebook, but have something out and just do like a little small training, and that'll help you a lot. And that way you don't feel like you're talking to yourself. I mean, I just write down everything. I do. And so I will go and talk about, if I feel like, I'm talking to myself, I'll just be like, okay, this is going to be a little mini training.
Yeah. What you can trick your brain. All right. I know I'm about to tell y'all some woo-woo shit. All right. So just bear with me for a second. If you didn't know this fact I'm about to tell you, let me know. Just tell me you didn't know or you did know. So your brain, right, does not know the difference between what is real and your imagination. It does not know. There's no way for it to tell. All right. If you don't believe me, you can Google it. Go and find out, do whatever you need to do. But if you didn't know, your brain cannot tell what's real and your imagination. So here's how you can trick yourself. If you're recording content, this is something that I do sometimes. All right. Sometimes if I'm not feeling it, I'd be like, hey, my daughters are going to see this video one day. How can I bring some value to them in the future? So like, we all talk to ourselves every day too. Like if you notice, I'm calling y'all out on some shit most people don't admit. We all talk to ourselves. We have conversations with ourselves inside of our heads with our 17 different personalities. Where my Gemini is at. I'm a Gemini, right? We all do it. As long as you're not like out here answering yourself all the time. Sometimes it's okay. But the truth, the truth is you can trick yourself. If like say you guys aren't here and I'm getting ready to record, this is what I'm saying, right? I'm going to pretend that I have either my daughters watching, right? Because they know daddy cusses. They know how daddy is. But I'm going to pretend that I have my adult daughters watching and I want to bring them some value. Or I'll pretend that I have 100 of the most ideal people I would love to work with watching this video with me. So I'm going to be teaching or explaining in a way that people will understand, right? And Rachel gave you a fucking solid tip. Pull up a damn Google Doc, bro. Look at the things you know. Look at the information that you've been sitting on. Make you a couple bullet points. Those are talking points, right?
Yep.
And go to town. Teach your daughter. Teach those 100 people that aren't there, but right? Because there's a good chance people are going to see your content, especially if you pretend you're already creating it for them. That's why we create content in the first place, for the people that need to see it that don't know it exists. Right? There's my woo-woo shit for today.
Yeah, I want to say they talk about that a lot. What is it in Psycho-Cybernetics? Maybe the book.
That's where I got it.
Yeah. They talk about So if you guys haven't read that, that's just a really good read. They talk about that a lot when it comes to like it's a really important one when it comes to like you hear it all the time is like you have to act as if you're the person that you already want to be, right? Because that's what at its core your brain literally doesn't tell the difference. Flip brings up a really awesome point. Like if you struggle with content in general on video, write something down and go off of that, right? That's a huge one, right? Eventually it gets easier. I still do it all the time, right? If you notice, like a lot of my videos and my guides, they're all on docs. All our trainings are usually on docs. So
I see someone just said, shit, this is gold. Rachel, I know we've been rolling. I feel like our little trio, we could just talk for hours, obviously. So if you guys have any more questions for Rachel, put them in the comments now because we're going to bring this full circle to a close. But I want to know, Rachel, what is it that you allow to fuel your content? Like, what is it that gives you your content ideas?
Well, really a lot of the mistakes I've made, like, that fuels my content because now I don't mind like making fun of myself, that kind of thing. So, but I like to try to be funny. And I also like I said, the mistakes that I made. And really when I started doing videos, talking videos and just telling my story, okay, I struggled for a whole year, but so I'm really trying with content ideas. Like I'm kind of like with Flip, he talks about taking a notebook and he puts it in his truck. He takes a notebook with him everywhere. And that's kind of what I do. Because I'm always thinking, like I might be in car line with my kid and thinking, oh my God, I want to make content on that. Or I might even make content while I'm sitting in the car. But I try really hard to let it be relatable because my content for the first year was all the how-to. It was not, I mean, I can remember doing the how-to videos and my mom calling me and saying, well, why don't you do those? Like, why don't you do that to make money? And I was like, well, you're not getting it. You don't understand. So, content for me, like seriously, being in Group Juice and like getting on the lives on Tuesdays. I mean, y'all, this is my third notebook that I have, but I have content when I'm online with Flip and Nate, when I'm in core. I am always, I mean, this is our core call. I write down all kind of notes, and I know that they're recorded. I know that, but I like to have it, like I start writing it down, right? If I was watching this video, I would have a notebook out and I would be writing down any type of content that I can think of. But I think something that is very important for people to understand is that your story is like, it matters. No matter, like, I think a lot of people think, my story is boring. But what if it helps one person? Like just one person? I mean, and it's going to help more than that. But I'm just saying, you've got to figure out, like, you matter. Like, your story is very important.
100%. It took me a long time to realize that with your story and all the struggles that come with it, your struggles are likely going to have a more powerful impact on your audience than your wins. Wins are just as important, but the hard shit that you went through, the lessons, the struggles, the walls, they have more impact and power. That's helpful for your audience. The book is called Psycho Cybernetics. You can look it up. There is an expanded edition. I would definitely get that one. It is a bit of a heavy read in the beginning. It's kind of hard to get into, but once you get into it, you won't be able to put it down, just because of like the things it talks about, the way your brain really works, like the human brain as a whole and how we think as a person. It's a really good book.
About Maxwell Maltz.
Yep, Maxwell Maltz.
So a couple shameless plugs, right? We do have a few people on here, right? If anybody in here isn't in Group Juice and they want to have a chat about that, hit up Rachel, right? If you guys are already in Group Juice and you want to talk a little bit about working with Flip and myself on an even closer level, we are opening up a few spots before the end of the year to come join us inside of Core. There is an app inside of your actual back office for Group Juice, or you can just pop us a message, see if it would be a good fit. It is not for everybody. That's the reality of it. Not to turn this into like a pitch fest or an ascension plan, but it is out there. So if you guys want to work with us on an even closer level, Rachel's in both Group Juice and Core. Could also feel free to ask her what it's like in there. And that's my 30-second pitch.
I want to thank you, Rachel, for coming to hang out and sharing, like, your pitfalls and how you got to where you're at today. Like, I'm super excited to see where you're at in the next 6-12 months. And I say that because I know you're in it for the long haul, like we are. So, like, Rachel is a perfect example of the type of people that we love to work with because of that one thing alone. Just thinking long term and knowing that growth is inevitable when you're surrounded by the right people that have done the things you want to do or currently doing the things that you want to do, and you don't quit, right? Any last minute questions before we let Rachel get on with her day? Nate gave you his shameless plug. I'll give you one. If you missed yesterday's training, me and Nate ran a pretty powerful, detailed training at the summit. If you did not get your free ticket, give us a shout. Those of you that are watching, I'm also going to be getting back into my content as I'm getting over this sickness. I've got some really cool things planned. Got some stuff I'm going to let you guys in on that I've been doing behind the scenes that's coming to fruition. So keep your eyes peeled. Hopefully that kind of sparks some curiosity and intrigue. But again, Thank you all for coming to hang out with us. I don't see any other questions, so we'll end it. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with us.
Awesome.
All right, guys. Y'all have a great day. Hit us up if you got any questions, and we'll catch y'all on the flip side.
Bye.